I'd like to welcome everybody to the October 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Wallali Municipal Advisory Council. We'll call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Any introductions? None at this time. So item number 2, approval of the agenda. All of you should have received a copy of the agenda. It was posted or is posted. And so if there's any deletions, additions, or if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 3rd meeting agenda.
Okay, we have a motion. We have by Robert. We have a second by Henry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? None. Okay, next one, approval of the September 5th, 2024 minutes. Everyone should have received that. Or any additions, deletions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted for the September 5th meeting.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Dan. Do we have a second? Second by Robert. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Okay, item number 4, correspondence. Is there any questions regarding the correspondence that we received? No, hearing none. Well, Zach, do you have any questions or comments on the correspondence?
No, I do not.
All right. Okay, item number 5, public comments on non-agenda items. A maximum of 3 minutes is reserved for members of the public to address the Wallala Municipal Advisory Council on items not listed on the agenda, and the total time for public input on a particular issue is limited to 20 minutes. The council is prohibited from discussing or acting on matters not on the agenda, but may briefly respond or ask a question for clarification. George, do you have anything?
I'm just here observing, listening, and I was hoping I'd hear something about what NIMCOG's been up to.
Well,
Transportation finance.
okay. So is there anybody online, Don, besides that? And the sheriff?
Sheriff's there. That's it.
Okay, so public comments are closed. So it's my pleasure to introduce from a remote area somewhere in Mendocino County, our Sheriff Matt Kendall. Matt, it's your floor.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing. I have a funeral that I have to attend tomorrow in Reno, so I'm on my way up there now. I had just a couple of things to report out on. Can you folks hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So our work on the Mendocino County Jail, the behavioral health wing is going really well. We got the foundation set, the conduit set, the water, the power, and they started setting some block. And so that's moving forward. We're doing real well there. We have a full staff of deputies in the jail. Now we're still suffering on patrol. We recently lost our South Coast resident, Mike Jensen. He took a job with the Ukiah Police Department. He wanted to move inland. But I've hired another man who is interested in being a South Coast resident deputy. He retired from the Lassen County Sheriff's Office and then came to work for us, and I swore him in on Monday. And when he is off training, I know that he's already rented a house down there. As soon as he's off training, we're going to evaluate whether or not he's ready, but he has a lot of experience, and he worked resident posts in Lassen County previously. And so that was a very fortuitous find for us. Couple of other things. Right now, we're working on a lot of plans and a lot of, for lack of better terms, partnerships to do something similar to Fort Bragg's crew response here in Mendocino County. And so I've been working on that with Janine Miller, Dr. Janine Miller from Behavioral Health, and we should have something that we're going to roll out. I'm hopeful that mid-November to early December would be a reasonable time frame. But I think that we're making some good strides in that. And then, of course, the next thing, fire safety. You know, we are not quite through the portion of it has me very concerned. It was this week in 2017 where we had the most devastating wildfire in Mendocino County. And so until we get that first rain, I'm just asking everybody remain hyper vigilant. I know we're having some chilly nights, but that does not mean that we're out of fire danger. So let's all work together to look out for each other. And then I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. Any questions for the sheriff?
Yeah, hi, Sheriff. Can you hear me? It's Henry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I was wondering, so I had heard from Tom Murphy that you and he had some conversation about whether you might have some inmate volunteers who wanted to do landscaping maintenance on the streetscape plan.
Yes.
Is that
And-
still a live possibility?
Yes, that is still a possibility. Joshua, our gardener, may be able to make that a portion of the college class that he teaches at the jail. But one of the issues that we're looking at is what type of a classification will we have to take these folks out into the public? And so I'm working on that with the jail captain right now. It depends on the classification. We don't have the same classification of inmates in jail that we did 20 years ago. Because of AB 109, a lot of our misdemeanants that would be sentenced to jail time, they are now basically just kind of not much happens with them. And we've got nothing but former state prison inmates, it seems like, in jail. And so that's the only hang up, is finding out what type of inmate we would be able to use and still meet the classification standards. And then, of course, there's transportation and various other things that we have to factor in.
Gotcha. Well, if there's anything I can do to help with any of that, I'm at your service in whatever limited capacity I have. And other than that, if you figure out anything more, if you could keep us in the loop, that'd be great.
I absolutely will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Dan?
Thank you.
Sheriff, if you do have a program like that, do the inmates need to be paid for that?
No. In the exact same fashion that we don't pay kids to go to college, that program would go towards a certificate for gardening and horticulture that we're already doing. And it would be a portion of that would be landscaping. And, you know, the one thing that we could probably get out of that more than anything else is jobs for them when they get out, if they have landscape experience.
Thank you.
So Sheriff, this is Kevin. Question for you. So would any of the expenses, either transportation or any supporting expenses, would that come out of your budget?
That would come from the Inmate Welfare Fund and through AB 109 realignment monies.
Okay.
That's where almost all of our educative courses come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's where funding for my restorative justice coordinator comes from. And so that funding it's because it's education.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of it is going to be a lot of book work that goes along with it as well. And so we would work towards a higher level certificate for those folks who are graduating from that program.
Well, what a great concept, and thank you for working with Mr. Murphy and GMAC, and let's see where that goes.
I'm kind of excited about it. I think that we may be able to get somewhere. We do have some constraints we got to work through, though.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much for working on it.
Any other questions from the council?
I have one question.
Yeah, Zach.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Matt?
Yeah, I can.
Cool. I'm just curious, when we don't have a resident deputy presently, what's the patrol status in that regard? Do you have a route that you have someone from the North Coast coming down to make a route? Is that basically how that works? Someone from Ukiah, something like that?
It's from the North Coast.
Okay.
And we have standard patrols down there that are assigned daily, weekly. It makes it a little easier when we have a resident for call outs and whatnot, because the response time is shorter. But we do have standard patrols down there on a daily basis.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? None? Sheriff, stay safe.
Thank you. You take good care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, item number 7. We have a boundary line adjustment 2024-0020. John Pasquale Barrel and Krista Marie Dagley. Zach, you and David were assigned to that. Is that something you're prepared to report on tonight, or?
I am not. I have not seen any recent correspondence with Dave and those parties. So I am not at liberty to report on that right now.
Okay.
Sorry, if I remember correctly, I think I felt like I grabbed this one last month.
Oh, you're right, Henry. I'm mixing something else up. Yep.
Okay, because I was looking, maybe I'm wrong, which I occasionally am.
So am I. I did look at it, so whether assigned or not.
Yeah, except under the minutes,
Uh-huh.
7.3. Oh, you're right. I've got the wrong one. I don't.
Oh, I see.
Never mind, Zach.
Yeah, that was the Shanko one.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah,
It should
sorry.
be 2024-0020.
And I don't see.
And it says mayor volunteered to review and present recommendation for GMAC consideration.
Okay, you did.
Yep.
So, sorry, Zach. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, I just emailed it to you. I don't know if we want to put it on the screen. It's not particularly complicated, so I can just talk it through.
Should we just bring up the?
Oh, yeah, it's linked. Yeah, great. Yeah. Basically, applicants Barrel and Dagley have or currently had a 0.9 acre lot adjacent to the lot that they to the Boussard lot, and they previously, I believe in 2020, purchased an additional 1/10 of an acre, and so now they're trying to combine those or to formally adjust the boundary line. Which will create a 1 acre parcel, excuse me. The property's on Fish Rock, just a little bit north of the Highway 1 intersection. My assumption is that their plan is to build on it, and there is in the application, there's one slide that contains a footprint for a house. I'm a little confused because the application also includes a zoning map. And the zoning map on their side of Fish Rock is RR5 bracket RR2, which I'm a little confused about what the brackets mean. I don't know, if you scroll down, the zoning map is near the bottom. The slide we just passed had the house footprint on it, but it's gonna have some dark blue lines on a map. Oh, yeah, right here.
Okay.
See, it's RR5 bracket RR2. Can anybody explain to me what the brackets mean?
Usually it means that, that 5 acre zoning, that you can break a parcel down further to a potential 2 acre parcel under certain conditions. And
Isn't that the zoning designation? Rural residential.
rural residential,
Yeah.
right? But the 2 is the big thing, right? And here we were looking at a 1 acre piece, so.
Yeah, they went up from 0.9 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little confused. I mean, it's not really any of my business, necessarily as to like, what that means. If they, obviously they would need a subsequent permit to build anything. And if they're not meeting the zoning restrictions, then they're not meeting the zoning restrictions.
Yeah, under certain conditions, you can go down to 2, usually water and septic, and then there's also, well, on the other side of Fish Rock Road, or up in Enchanted Meadows, you have RR1 in brackets.
Yeah, they're right across the street from RR1.
Yeah, and those all, I mean, Dan lives up in that area, they all got 1 acre parcels up there because they have water service.
Gotcha.
This parcel doesn't, other than a well. So it's kind of a non-conforming parcel in that it's 1 acre. And I think there's, because it's less than 1 acre, they're trying to make it 1 acre so that they meet some other kind of a requirement at the county level, which I'm not totally positive what that is.
Yeah, nor am I. It does, the last map says it's county water district, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily served.
Right.
I don't see a reason to deny based on that, but it was something I noticed was that they are clearly getting up to pretty much exactly 1 acre. But as far as I can tell, that doesn't enable them to build a house that I think they want to build. If you scroll back up to close to the top, see what page is this? Page 7.
The plot plan.
Yeah, the plot plan. There's a house on there. But again, I don't know how they build that in that zoning area.
Must have missed it.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
proposed, that house.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, nothing
There you
exists there right now. No, I think, one more down.
Right
Right
there.
here, yeah. So, I don't know, I mean, clearly somebody put in plans, I don't know if they're expecting a zoning change or if there's some other level of exemption I've missed. Again, I don't,
I see there's.
That'll be a subject of a separate
yeah,
CDP,
exactly. Well,
I think.
an interesting note on that, is that, I'm sorry to make you dance around so much, Don, but, I can also just say, almost all of the resulting parcel is in a CDP exclusion area. Not quite all, there's a little corner of it that isn't, but according to the map on page 28, second to last page, almost all of it is covered by a CDP exclusion area. Obviously, they would still need a building permit, and that would still need to conform to zoning. So, that's, the applicant already purchased this land. They've already paid taxes on the new assessment. If they're making some sort of mistake, that's not really our, job to, there's no reason for us to deny this permit. So I don't see any reason to cause any problems on the boundary line adjustment. I don't see it causing any problems. If they marked that, it wouldn't create a buildable lot that's in view from Highway 1, and it's close, but I think that's true. I think even if they could build on it, I don't think you'd be able to see it from Highway 1, unless it were taller than I would expect. So I don't see any problems. That was one thing that I noticed that seemed odd, but beyond that, I don't see a reason not to tell them to.
So you recommend approval?
Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Are there any questions for Henry, or I'll entertain a motion?
Yeah.
To approve it?
Yeah, I'd have, on that plot plan, there is something of note there, and it says distance from residence to the north property. So there looks like if they have a proposed CDP to build a home at some point, they're trying to meet the setback requirement from that northerly property line.
That would make sense. That's the little parcel that they added, which is also really close to their well.
And then maybe we're trying to get some more separation there.
That would make sense.
So it's by itself, the property line adjustment doesn't seem to be an issue.
Yeah.
But they still have some other hurdles for them.
Okay, any other
Yeah.
questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve with no further comment.
Okay, we have a motion by Henry. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
I think I heard
Go.
that first.
Melissa can make-
Second by Melissa. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, there's no old business, there's no new business.
And so I'll, in Dave's absence, or I guess he'll be back relatively soon. I could just send him the
Oh,
result of
hold
this and he can send it off. Where do you want to do it?
If you could do it.
Yeah.
And. Okay, what I'm missing. I forgot I was supposed to be acting secretary. So the approval of the agenda was. We'll say Don. And Robert? No, it's actually Robert.
Yeah, approval of agenda was,
Yeah, I think I
Robert
said it.
moved, I seconded.
Robert and Henry,
And
okay,
then approval of the minutes, I think was Dan, seconded by Robert.
okay,
Close enough.
that's fine.
We'll have it on the recording too.
That's right.
And Robert. And this one was a motion by Henry,
Second by Melissa.
second by, okay, I forgot. Second by Melissa. Got all about that. I was having a good time, then I realized, oh my gosh. Okay, no old business, no new business. We'll move on to committee reports. First one on deck, or first one up is Bauer Park renovation. Henry, do you have anything, or Dan?
Yeah, the only thing I have, was, thank you for forwarding that notification that Nadia Tipton is no longer employed by the county.
Yeah.
So we've lost another contact over there, which is unfortunate, and, I'm sure is adding a bunch of churn to this project, which is concerning. So I did just get an email back, this afternoon, just a couple hours ago, from Tim Holman. I have not had a chance to look into him at all. His signature line is executive division manager. And he said that he's the best contact for us, so,
Yeah, he's a deputy director or deputy CEO.
okay, oh, okay.
So he's overseeing multiple departments,
Great.
and one of them happens to be GSA. Dan, do you have anything?
Nothing new.
Okay, I'm gonna piggyback what Henry's saying, and I'm gonna take a point of privilege here. There's been a lot of discussion about the things that aren't happening up at Bauer Park, but I wanna give a shout out to Jeff Dieterman. Jeff Dieterman is the staff person in charge of the, maintenance, of Bauer Park. And he and Nadia, have done two really responsive actions to handle requests from our community. One was to get the soccer field up to playing conditions so the soccer groups can go up there, so they mowed it and did all that.
And painted,
What's that?
and painted it too.
Yeah.
They painted the boundary lines for soccer.
Ah,
It looked good. I was just up there last weekend.
okay. And the other one was, I had a resident tell me about the graffiti on the two signs at Bauer Park over by the south playground area. I guess they're the two signs that welcome you to Bauer Park, whatever, but they've had graffiti on them for a while. So a resident contacted me and said, what can we do about that? So I contacted Jeff and the county, and they painted over the signs and they covered up the graffiti. So that kind of shows a little more pride in our park. The unfortunate part was that whoever the artists were that did the graffiti didn't like that their graffiti was painted over. So they did a graffiti design on the asphalt in the parking lot right by the sign. So, but they didn't do it on the sign again. So that's good. That's a good plus. But I just want to let the council know that the county is being really receptive, that if we do call them with a service request, that they are reaching out and they're making it happen in a timely manner. So, but Jeff Dieterman is the contact person. If there's any maintenance issues up at Bauer Park, let him know, and he's got a great crew and he'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Okay, Robert, you want to announce why you're recusing yourself for the record?
We're in the next phase of the streetscape, so I feel as if I have a conflict now. So I'm recusing myself for that reason.
Okay. Okay, we'll have the minutes note that you did recuse yourself from participation in this discussion. David's not here, but Henry or Melissa?
We have not had a committee meeting yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Henry, I know that you were at the last meeting, you wanted to get in touch with Caltrans, so
Yeah,
what do you have to share?
so it unfortunately took me a little while to, actually get on that. There were a couple things going on, otherwise, but, I have an email out, to them, requesting a committee meeting. I copied in the rest of the committee, and hopefully Katie Everett will get back to me. I asked if she is available to meet next week. So hopefully either next week or the one after, we can have a committee meeting with Caltrans and then have more to report out in November.
Okay. George, you said you wanted to ask a question or you were just,
I had a very brief question. If people who come and give presentations from time to time in GMAC over time, and kind of got my attention when I was looking at some of the things that MCOG's been doing with their transportation planning project. While always, kind of gets left out of this process, frequently. And we talk about streetscape, and it's a very important subject, but it also tends to distract from other things that go on involving transportation around the world. But ask it, and that's just for possibility. Would it be possible to have somebody come from the county transportation department and give a presentation sometime on what their overall plan is, budget information, different kinds of projects that are afoot, et cetera, and what is the long term? What are the long term effects for the law? They said they're looking out 20 years, and what that tells me is that we've not heard about 20-year planning for law. We have some critical issues within the community, specifically Old Stage Road, Ocean Ridge, and then Pacific Woods. Those roads are getting to the point where they're starting to cause damage to automobiles. People already had some tire damage. Ridge Road is unsafe to drive, speed limit. We all know that. And we need a forum to challenge the county to start paying attention to that. I mean, that's my personal opinion. But GMAC having the role it has to advise and comment, and especially with the relationship with the Board of Supervisors, it just seems like it would be appropriate to say, hey guys, you've got a grant to do Mountain View Road, you're paving that, we get smooth roads going out of town. We're driving unsafely on our own streets here. So anyway, that was one of the things that I was hoping maybe I'd hear something about this evening, or if we could make it a future agenda item sometime soon. Also find out what MCOG is actually planning that would include the South Coast. One of the things that is a little disturbing is they talk about things like driverless vehicles in Ukiah. And there's a lot of suburban type planning going on. Not hearing much about rural transportation conditions, road conditions being number one in town and that's pretty much it. And I guess the other one that I had just listening a little earlier, when I was serving on GMAC, we tried to get out of it, try to stay out of the habit of approving things. And I heard the language of approval. So has something changed in procedures or GMAC's role in looking at building permits and plans? Has that changed at all, or is it still pretty much the same as it has been?
Still pretty much the same as when I got on. And I know Robert's got more years than me, but he's recused. Don and Melissa, you've been here longer than me. So has it always been that you approved the CDPs? Okay,
I think technically it's that we recommend approval.
yeah,
Yeah, we can't approve or disapprove. we
right,
just
but we recommend approval.
recommend.
Yeah, and that's,
Five, three.
So it's still in the scope of recommendation by,
Correct.
like, say approval, we really mean.
Recommended approval.
yeah, and that's, they have a feedback form that they include now in the CDP packets. And that's the language they use as well, as recommend approval.
It was a source of confusion in the past, but, language matters.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, is there anybody, Zach here? Oh, Don, then Zach.
Well, yeah, I just want to briefly comment on what George said. In particular, this point he brought up about the local roads. I do think that's an important issue that we should query the county on and try to get some information as to what their plans are for the roads around here, which are in a degraded state, to say the least, and getting worse every winter. Now, last year, I did call for that, right? Live on Pacific Woods Road. I called them, Transportation Department, complaining about the degraded road. They came out eventually a month later, and they filled in some of those depressions, but not all of them. And now there's even more. So I think George's suggestion to get some feedback from county transportation, even though this is really not related to a streetscape at all.
Right.
It's just the county roads that surround Walla that are in such bad shape. I do think we benefit, the community would benefit getting some feedback or being able to even question the county Department of Transportation on this issue.
Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, I would just ask, have you seen or filled out the survey that MCOG sent out? They have both a survey and a map for where you can put in areas of your priorities and areas of concern.
Yeah, I've seen some of that, and the history of it is that you can get pushed out. The reason it gets pushed out is because, quite frankly, the county administration doesn't know how much money they have. They don't have, they're unable to follow a budget. Their internal audit department is not meeting audit standards. I mean, it goes very deep. Even to the point where in the past there's even been embezzlement. And it's happened more than once. So I think, you know, as part of the community, we need to question those things and demand some accountability. If nothing else, you know, where is the bookmark in the budget for Wall? You know, show us the bookmark. Okay, you keep pushing it out, but we can't even find ourselves in there. Much less have hope that there will be some money in the budget in the future to address some of those issues there. What I hear from people here locally is they get pretty frustrated with the fact that they, you know, we pay pretty high property taxes around here, and millions of dollars out of the South Coast goes into Ukiah in various forms, and property tax is one piece of it. You got the hotel taxes on top of that. People are asking more frequently than they used to. I hear it more and more. You know, where's our money going?
Yeah, we're pretty far out of the scope of the streetscape committee at this point, but I would encourage you to fill that stuff out. It can't hurt.
We just an ATM, or we considered part of Mendocino County.
Right. Let me go ahead and, because I do have, the road condition has been an issue for a couple of years now. And conversation with the director who's in charge of the roads and the maintenance said that Old Stage, Iverson Road, and 10 Mile Cutoff, the last time those roads were maintained was 2001. We are not on the books to get those chip sealed until 2034. The standard is that if it's a heavily traveled road, and this is coming from the county, the standard for maintaining the road is if it's heavily used, like Iverson and Osage is, you maintain the road every 15 years. Needless to say, we're well beyond that. But I will say that the allocation of money, the county gets the money to repair the roads from the state. And it's the supervisors who make the recommendations on what areas are a priority, hence Mountain View. So you're right, and this is something that we're continually speaking with our electeds to say, hey, we've got some roads, because they're our north-south corridor, and when they go down, we have a problem with the emergency response. So, any other?
May I say two things about this?
Absolutely, Zach, go ahead.
And I know I don't want to deviate too much from the streetscape specifically, but two important things that I just want to bring up. Number one is, unfortunately, the county of Mendocino famously doesn't really know how much money it has as a whole. So it's behind and trying to, put forth lots of audits for different departments to, understand what the revenue is on each angle of the county. And we know that for sure, Gualala is a huge generator of capital for the county, and it's a good bet, by most of us locals that think that we're not getting our fair share back. One thing I want to just say about the county roads, I think that one of the best avenues to try to get this done, because it's a lot of money and sooner than it could happen, is if we look into the state disaster preparedness grants that we know are out there. That could be one of the ways that we can work with the county to, get the capital the community would need for that large of a full scale, county project. So that might be a good opportunity to, try to investigate those grants.
Okay, thank you, Zach. Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you, George, for your comments.
Thanks for the time.
Our local coastal program and town plan, David's not here. Does anybody else have any information on that? Oh, community center. Huh. They're launching their capital campaign right now. And they're hoping to have the 100% construction drawings done by the middle of October, and hoping to get a permit back from the county by late November, early December, with construction to start the first quarter of 2025. So that's where we are right now. Thank you for keeping me on the ball. Local coastal program, David's not here. Economic development, Evans and Youngling. Do you have anything, Robert?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't either. One thing though, as I mentioned last meeting, and I have not seen anything, is the recommendation to up the T-bid or the transient occupancy tax to, I think, add another 1/10%, I think it is.
1%.
1%. To add that to the 1% that they're already collecting now, make it 2% to cover the county's portion, because the county opted out of providing any funds to support Visit Mendocino or any other tourist serving businesses. So I haven't seen anything with the election coming up. I haven't seen anything pro con. I haven't even seen a ballot measure coming. So I have no idea what the status of that is. So if anyone else does, please share it, because we need to get that information out. And I do have one other. For those of you that are aware, the Visit Mendocino is working with Caltrans to put a new entry sign, a gateway to Mendocino sign, where the old wood sign is right now. They want to put a new sign up there. They're gonna angle it more so you don't have to quickly turn your head to catch the wood sign. But it's going to be, they're gonna be at 5 of the entry points in Mendocino County, and we're designated as one of the sites to get a new gateway sign. So that's kind of exciting, to help promote our community. We're working with some of the local businesses maybe to put a welcome to Walala sign up. And as the old wood sign have a lot of the businesses listed on there and welcome and let people know what we have to offer. So we're working with the businesses to find an appropriate location that we might be able to put a sign like that up. But the comment was we wanted to make sure that it was separated. By putting the businesses under the Visit Mendocino sign, it would make the public think that those businesses are throughout the county. And what we want to do is identify them specifically to Walala. So, but they're working on the branding of our county and enhancing the tourism. So that's pretty exciting. Okay. Don, website, social media, telecommunications, community broadband access. Don and
Yeah.
Henry.
Right, I don't have a lot more to report this time around. It's kind of a bad time of year for me to focus much energy on something like this when September is usually the month I'm doing everything in my house to get ready for winter. And I've had to repair a French drain and trim some trees and just a lot of stuff, get some firewood gathered. And that's typically what I do this month, so I think going forward, I will have more time as the weather turns and it's less nice outside. So I'll be inside. Anyway, so I don't have much to.
Henry, do you have anything?
I don't.
I'm looking forward to your updates on your website because you got a good start on that and looked great. So
Right, but now I gotta deal with this ADA issue and make sure we're compliant with that.
oh, okay. Copy that.
There-
Robert?
I attended a GCSD meeting last week and they're dealing with the same thing on their website,
on their website?
the ADA stuff, and they somehow got a pretty good grasp on it.
Oh, okay.
You might wanna, I don't know if
Do you know who their
wanna talk to?
website developer is? Do they use,
He's doing it himself.
use WordPress?
Chris Troyan is doing it himself, the manager, district manager.
Okay, maybe you could send me
His contact?
this contact
Sure,
information.
I'd be happy to.
Oh, great.
Okay. Treasurer's report?
No news.
Excellent.
No
Okay,
news is good news.
yeah. Council comments. Melissa, do you have anything?
Bauer Park is open. I went there last Sunday and that place is popping. There was like 1 or 2 parking places left in both sections. There were people all over the place. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was a party, for a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Was that on Sunday?
Yeah.
That was when I was there. I
Yeah.
had
It was a big turnout.
tiny little feet running around, tiny little bicycles and tiny.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see you. I must not have been paying enough attention. I was watching the littles.
While I was walking around.
Oh, great.
Okay, Henry, do you have anything?
Well, since Robert just brought up GCSD, I will say, we had an alarm go off for their septic control system and I called them and they showed up in like 5 minutes and dealt with it and it was awesome. And that was like the best response to any problem at a house I've had in this area and it made me very appreciative. My commendation to GCSD and people who work there.
Nice. Robert?
Yeah, I took the time out and went to Bauer Park too recently because I hadn't been there in years and I was curious. And I think I went on this past week, Monday. And I walked the whole grounds. I reminisced about the tennis courts, how we used to play there all the time and how bad a shape they are. But I walked everywhere and it looked really good, but it looked very different to me. I mean, there's not that much shade anymore. It looks a little barren to me, but it still looks very clean and safe. So I was impressed. So that was my
Don,
expedition.
I don't know.
Dan,
Just want to offer my condolences to Robert. His passing.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah.
Going good so far. Thanks.
and I have just one note. If you could please mark on your calendar, November 30th. It's a Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's the Lions Club's holiday lighted truck parade. So I invite you to either participate, put a couple lights on your car, or in Don's case, on his bike, and participate as an entry in the parade, and or go down and watch the parade. It's fun, and I would highly encourage you to, if you do go to watch the parade. We've been lucky to have Mr. Seamus, owner of the hotel, open up the back parking lot to allow the parade entries to pull in there. So after the parade, people can go around and take a look at the up close and in person. Take a look at all the floats and entries that are in the parade. So should be fun. Hopefully it'll be weather like this, and the parade will step off at 6 o'clock. And by 6:15, it's over. But no, it's a good time, and I invite everybody to join. Any other questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of GMAC until our November 7th, 2024 meeting at 6 p.m.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
We got a motion by Melissa. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Don. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Carried.
Aye.
Thanks, Zach.
Fastest meeting